Welcome to today's deep dive. We've got some really fascinating firsthand observer field notes to review today, and our mission is exploring the hidden, action-packed life of a bird you might think is, well, pretty everyday.
Yeah, the Jackal buzzard
Exactly. If you drive rural roads, you've probably seen them just, sitting there on a telephone pole.
or fence post.
Right, or flying with these really slow, deliberate wing beats. But those field notes reveal a totally different behavioral profile when they get off the roadside.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because their actual hunting strategy is a highly specialized balancing act of aerodynamics.
And energy management, yeah. What's fascinating here is how they leverage the wind to their advantage. The observer noted this specific tactic where the buzzards hover high up, utilizing thermal updrafts to act almost like a kite.
Just locked in the sky.
Completely. They maintain that fixed position in the air, conserving energy, and then initiate the slow, highly controlled descent.
Visually scanning the ground. Right. They are waiting for a Cape Dune mole rat to break the surface of its burrow.
Oh.
And the second it does, that slow hover transitions into a rapid, calculated vertical dive to secure the prey.
Just dropping right on them. But I mean, what happens when they actually connect with one of these mole rats? Because I imagine trying to pull a subterranean rodent out of a burrow and fly away isn't a seamless process.
Well, far from it. The Cape Dune mole rat is substantial prey. They often weigh nearly as much as the bird itself.
Wow.
Yeah, the observer actually recorded a hunt where an adult buzzard successfully seized one, and the payload-to-weight ratio immediately became a massive hurdle. The buzzard could not simply take off and soar back to its nest. The sheer weight of the rat forced the bird into a severe caloric deficit.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the notes detail the intense physical toll of this catch. The bird was so overloaded by the payload that it was forced to land and rest on the ground.
Every 30 to 40 meters.
Every 30 to 40 meters. It ended up covering a few hundred meters in these short, exhausting bursts, expending a tremendous amount of effort nearly to gain enough altitude to clear a nearby road.
Just dragging this heavy weight.
Exactly. It paints a picture of a predator pushed to its absolute physical limits.
It does. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to look at the energy economics of this predator-prey dynamic. Carrying that much weight requires immense output, which begs the question of why a predator takes on a target that nearly immobilizes it.
It's all about the nutritional payoff.
Exactly. A single Cape Dune mole rat offers enough calories to sustain the buzzard for several days. Therefore, that intense, exhausting payload struggle is a calculated biological risk. They were trading massive short-term energy expenditure for a long-term caloric surplus.
That calculated risk really makes you reconsider the developmental timeline for these birds. I mean, if an experienced adult is pushed to the brink by this payload, how does a younger bird manage?
They struggle.
Right. The field notes actually touch on this. They observed a juvenile near Rondevlei, a nature reserve here in South Africa. This young bird was persistently begging its parents for food many weeks after it had fledged.
Meaning it had already grown its flight feathers and left the nest.
Yeah.
That behavior highlights a steep, extended learning curve. Sure, the juvenile possesses the flight feathers necessary for basic mobility, but it lacks the critical muscle mass and the refined technique to handle that kind of extreme payload-to-weight ratio.
It's just not strong enough yet.
Precisely. Hunting a large mole rat requires not only the precision to strike effectively, but the brute stamina to transport the catch. These young birds essentially rely on an extended period of parental subsidy while they build the physical strength required to execute those heavy lifts on their own.
So what does this all mean? Examining these field notes shifts our perspective from seeing a common, maybe boring roadside bird to understanding a predator engaged in complex, high-stakes energy economics.
Absolutely.
The next time you see wildlife resting in your area, it might be worth considering the hidden physical struggles they endure out of sight to secure their next meal. It certainly changes how you interpret their presence in our environment.
It really does. And this raises an important question. If a perfectly executed successful hunt leaves an adult predator completely exhausted just trying to transport his meal, just how razor thin is the margin between survival and starvation out there in the wild?